morning, sports fans, and welcome to the defining moment brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is me, your boy Larry B, bringing it to you on a beautiful Tuesday morning. That's right, y'all. Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. And we are back at it for another action-packed wall-to-wall episode of the defining moment right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go ahead and get on into it, shall we? Starting things off here, we have a little bit of NFL slog. Weeks 9 through 10 of the NFL. The playoff picture is finally starting to take shape, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be a ride from here on out, including a nice little game between my co-hosts and my co-host team and my team coming up in just 2 days. Oh, yes. Anyway, we have Thursday Night Football last week. The Niners take it to the Cardinals, or did the Cardinals take it to the Niners? That was quite the game. Also, Baltimore upsets New England. Where's the applause button? Because that ain't no joke, man. Knocking off the Giants. They are definitely not out. It's one loss. But I'll tell you what, amazing performance by those Baltimore Ravens. And last night, would lightning strike twice for an upset? Not really. Dallas closed the door shut, slammed that sucker last night. But I'll tell you what, the Giants, valiant effort, I will tell you. Anyway, next up, college football playoff tonight. The release is tonight. I hope you're ready, because I am. Get your popcorn, baby. It's going to be a show. Next up, we have Memphis and those really freaking cool uniforms getting a victory over a very tough SMU team in the American Conference, and that was one to watch. Disgusting amount of points, but I don't care. Those really cool uniforms from Memphis made up for it. Anyway, also, it's been a while since we've been on, so how about the Nationals, y'all? That's right. The Washington Nationals last week will win their first ever World Series, and it was a actual history-making World Series as all teams won all games on the road, or both teams won all games on the road. Next up, South Africa has done it. The applause button is going crazy. That's right. South Africa defeats England 32-12 as they earned their third Rugby World Cup in Rugby World Cup history, and their first in 2007. Fun little tidbit information. The last time they won it was also over England in 2007. Next up, Valtteri Bottas will earn his 7th career victory yesterday, winning in the U.S. Grand Prix, but I think the real story goes to Lewis Hamilton, earning his 6th Formula 1 title, one away from tying the great Michael Schumacher. Also, Kevin Harvick gets it done yesterday, punching his ticket to the NASCAR playoff, the NASCAR Championship 4. History was made. Erica Enders will win the 150th victory of all NHRA female drivers. And how about the 900th ever victory? Well, Miss Brittany Force will get that done yesterday. So congratulations to those two ladies in the NHRA at the Vegas Nats. Also, Boston is on a roll in the NHRA. In the NHL. The Lakers are looking like a basketball team in the NBA. We have a rematch again of the MLS final and plenty more. You're listening to the defining moment right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, sports fans. Well, there was so much in that introduction that I couldn't even finish, guys. So, real quick, as I mentioned, we got a rematch of the MLS Cup final again. The third time in a row. And how cool is this? Let me tell you how cool it is. Okay, this is how cool it is in the MLS. The first time the Sounders ever made it to the final was 3 years ago. The first time that Toronto FC ever made it to the final was 3 years ago. The second time that the Seattle Sounders made it to the final was 2 years ago. The second time that Toronto FC made it to the final was also 2 years ago. Seattle and Toronto did not go to the MLS final last year. But guess what? This year, the third time that the Seattle Sounders are going to the final is this year. And guess who's joining them? Toronto FC for their third time, also going to the final. And wouldn't you know it, all 3 times that those two teams have been to the final just happens to be against each other in the same exact years. I'm gonna say that's pretty cool, right? So We got that going on in NCAA basketball. Today is the tip-off. As a matter of fact, it just got tipped off a little bit ago, about 20 minutes ago, actually. Tip-off is officially underway. I will be in the house tonight, baby. Lance up! Tonight, Cal Baptist University will be home to open up the season. Not just the men's team, but the women's team as well. The women's team will be playing at 5 p.m. Pacific time versus, once again, my co-host here. We're just having a rivalry week, aren't we? The ladies of Long Beach State will be in the house tonight to take on the Cal Baptist Lady Lancers. And after that, at 7 p.m. Pacific time, the men of CBU will be taking on Jackson State. So really excited for that, y'all. Going to be an awesome doubleheader into the CBU events arena, and I am so freaking excited for this, guys. I'm so excited because I just want to be in there already. I can't wait. I'm gonna get my lift in a little. I got some videos to make after this show, and then I got a little bit of homework. Then I got to get on over to the rec center, get my beastie lift in, and then enjoy 2 basketball games on the night. Plenty going on at CBU this week, guys. I'm telling you, we got that going on. Wednesday, tomorrow, we don't got anything going on tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, we on Thursday, well, not this Thursday, but on Friday, we are taking on Cal Lu, so really excited for that. Cal Baptist taking on California Lutheran will be on Friday. I'll be in the house for that as well. And then on Saturday, we are wrestling, y'all. 12 p.m. Pacific time, CBU will be starting things off in the Van Dyne Gym, y'all. They are getting down. A little bit of wrestling coming your way. They will be taking on, let's see here. I forgot who they're going to be taking on. But anyway, they will be, well, I think it's like our second because we just lost to the Navy, unfortunately, last week. But it's all good. Good job, Navy. But the Navy Academy, that is. But this week, wrestling, women's basketball is at 2 o'clock, and men's soccer will be at 3. So 3 sports all within 1 hour of each other's start time will be going on Saturday. And then something that we love at CBU, it's been a 25-year, I think, or my gosh, no, 28-year tradition. The Fortuna Bowl, of course, which is really cool. Recreational, but flag football championships, of course. Ladies go first, and then the men. But always a great event to go to for Cal Baptist for the family, I forgot what it's called, but family and friends or parent weekend. So really, really, really cool. But hey, as an alum and as a current student there, I'm loving it. So I'm really excited to be there for this week. Got lots of great stuff there. I think there's plenty to go. And yeah, I'm really, really, really excited for this week at Cal Baptist. Anyway, I know I digressed a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Just very proud Lancer, okay? Anyway, after that, we have a little bit of, we got some NCAA college basketball to get to today, some top-ranked games to take a look at. Also, NCAA volleyball, we have now entered the final month, y'all. The final month of NCAA volleyball, and if you think for 1 second that you have seen the best volleyball of the year, I think my co-host here will tell you that you haven't seen anything yet, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you haven't seen anything yet. You are yet to see the best digs, rallies, and spikes alike when it comes to volleyball. So this last month is going to be awesome. We're going to really get on volleyball this month because Selection Sunday, y'all, is on December 1st, and the tournament is coming right up after that. So we are getting ready, y'all. We got the conference championships coming up later on this month. So getting ready for that. Also, can we get an applause for the NWSL champions, y'all? The Courage pulled up last week as they will defeat the Chicago Red Stars 4-0. And the Courage earned their 3rd National Women's Soccer League championship in franchise history and their 2nd back-to-back. Awesome job. Don't forget, they did win one as their former team that they were, the Western New York Flash, before they changed over before they moved to North Carolina, 2015 or 2016. But anyway, great stuff there. And then, of course, we have a little NCAA women's soccer to get into. We actually have 2 undefeated teams left, and this is pretty crazy because we're almost to the tournament. Okay, like, how crazy is that? We're still talking undefeated teams, and and Selection Sunday is coming up Selection Monday is coming up on Monday of next week. So we have 6 days away until selection, and there's 2 undefeated teams. Yeah, they're kind of good. So we have here number 6 BYU and number 1 Virginia. And, well, as my co-host will tell you, Virginia is good in a lot of things, including, of course, their biggest thing, lacrosse. But, man, they have been all over the place, making the final this year, winning it all in March Madness. Okay, their lacrosse team, well, I think they won it all there, too. I mean, a damn good school. And the football team, the Who's they're getting a lot better in football. I'll tell you that right now. The Cavaliers are getting it. So, great stuff there looking ahead. Also, for the NCAA men's soccer, we have 2 weeks remaining for Selection Sunday, so we're almost there, and that will be coming up. Got a lot to get to for that. Also, as I said, Selection Monday is 13 days away, November 18th, and the College Cup will start on November 19th. As for the Women's College Cup, as I mentioned, that will be starting actually next Thursday, I believe, next Friday on November 16th. So we're getting ready for the Women's College Cup and the Men's College Cup. In NCAA Women's Hockey, we had some really cool stuff happen. Number 1 and number 2 would face off Wisconsin and Minnesota, and, it's kind of crazy. The first game will be an upset, the next one will be a tie. But, man, those two just might meet up again in the final. For the men's hockey, we had some upsets galore this week. I'll get to all those until we get to that part of the show. We had some great upsets and some really good games. Of course, we'll get to the ones coming up for you this week, as well as the rankings. And then we'll go over, as I mentioned, NCAA wrestling is officially underway, so really excited for that. Going to pay attention to that more this year. And then, of course, the big news, I think that everybody was, if you weren't shocked by this, either you're just not a boxing fan, which is totally understandable, or you're just really a believer that Canelo can beat pretty much anybody, because this guy is, without saying, probably the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, right now. I honestly don't know who can take that away from him. I really don't. Okay, I originally had Bud Crawford up there, which I really think Bud Crawford still is, right there, but Canelo just moved up 15 freaking pounds and slayed a giant. All right, I know Sergey Kovalev isn't necessarily in his prime anymore. I know that, yes, he lost a couple to Andre Ward, but it's freaking Andre Ward, okay, which was great. I know he lost one to Eleider Alvarez, but he came back and destroyed Eleider Alvarez, last year? I think, or 2 years ago, when those two fought back-to-back. So, I'm just saying, or within a short time of each other, Kovalev is still the crusher. But Canelo, to knock him out in the 11th round like how he did, Kovalev, in my opinion, dominated the first 4 rounds. And honestly, Canelo was really just trying to catch up and stay in the fight by, stay in the fight. But even on the cards, apparently he was still up there. I think he was even leading. I don't know. However, but I had it pretty close. I actually had the fight, I think 5 rounds per each going into the 11th round. But in the 11th round, it all came down. Well, actually, Kovalev just went down. Poor guy, man. But Canelo connects, and boom, down goes Kovalev. It was immediate. The referee immediately waved it off, and Canelo is the new WBO light heavyweight champion of the world. What a job, man. Saul Canelo Alvarez is the real deal, y'all. So proud of that guy. And big Canelo fan. I didn't know if he was going to make it out of this fight. I had faith in him, but I was like, oh my gosh, Kovalev, man. The guy's the real deal. But anyway, so this is a lot to get to. We've been off for a couple of weeks. My apologies, but the craziness is officially over with. My coaching for the year has concluded, so now I have a little more free time, which is cool. As I mentioned before, I was coaching my old alma mater, my high school, so our season has concluded, so now I definitely have more time. But it's got to say, it was a great season, and big ups to my Paris Panthers, man. Great guys, and definitely I got to show them some love. So with that said, y'all, starting up today's show, as I always like to say, all glory to the man above, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. For without him, nothing is possible. And of course, to all of you, big ups, and thank you for tuning in every week, showing us love, and just being the awesome folks that you are, man. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. With that said, if you hasn't fallen asleep already, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming my co-host here. He is absolutely every bit of a diehard as myself and as the rest of our IE Sports Radio family. So glad to have this guy aboard. And as a matter of fact, he'll be going on right after this show. A little bit after, about an hour after the conclusion of this show. With his brand new show that has been a success, man. I think he's already into a 6th show, but awesome stuff, man. And if you want volleyball, trust me, he makes me look stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, he is one half of the defining moment here on iSports Radio, along with me, your boy Larry B, and of course, host and founder of our volleyball show here on iSports Radio, Set Point. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the one, the only, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn?
Hello, everybody. It is great to be back on the defining moment. You know, I'm hello, people. It's just such a great feeling. I can't even put it into words. I'm so excited to be back here.
Right? I mean, oh my gosh. It seems like it's been forever, man.
It has, yes.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we're good to go, so... Yeah, sorry about that. Burping on air, never a good thing. but yeah, I'll tell you right now, that was an amazing week in sports that we just had. And we are really raring set to get to the best coming our way. So, with that said, let's go ahead and quick and dirty and roll through. Let's start things off here with the NFL. So, this will be quick and dirty. Like, seriously, I'm talking about quick hits because we're going to have some fun with this. Plus, I got plenty of going on tomorrow on 3 and Out. Make sure to catch that show, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But, with that said, we're just going to call it and kind of just roll quick and dirty through this past week 9 of the NFL, and actually some of it's kind of comical. So here we go. Once again, quick and dirty, Niners undefeated, still rolling. They have not been 8-0 since 1990. They are now 8-0. And they also started out that season 10-0. Can they get to 10-0 as good as they're playing? I'm pretty sure. But the Cardinals gave them one hell of a fight. Taryn, quick and dirty.
You know, I was very surprised to see the final score of that game. You know, I thought the 49ers were just going to roll past Arizona, but, you know, hats off to the Cardinals, man. And Kenyon Drake had himself a decent game. I think he's going to adapt well with the Cardinals, and he'll have a chance to flourish now since David Johnson and Chase Edmonds are out with injury. So I think this is Kenyon Drake's time to shine and to just prove himself that he's not just a standard running back. He can turn himself into a star.
Alabama to Miami to Arizona. Let's see if he continues. I hope he does. I think he can do great over there. So, next up we have here Texans and Jaguars. Early morning NFL UK game. Plain and simple, man. Beat down.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. You know, I kind of figured the Texans would beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars seem to be good one week, and then when they face an actual opponent, you know, they just get discombobulated. They kind of remind me of Kirk Cousins, who struggles against quarterbacks that have a record of 500 or better. Yeah,
I feel bad for Gardner Minshew, but you know what? It's what it is. That guy, he's a trooper. It's one freaking game. One game, no big deal. When Foles comes back, we'll find out what goes on. But I think Gardner Minshew can go and start for a place who needs a quarterback. He's proven himself. He sold himself very well. So, anyway, once again, Niners would beat the Cardinals 28-25. Sorry about that. And the Texans will beat the Jaguars 26-3 in a total rout. Next up, looks like we're just going to roll through these rapid fire, guys. We have Bills defeating the Redskins 24-9. Any surprise here, Terry?
No, not really.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. Bills just looked really good. Beasley continues to show why he's the most underrated receiver in the NFL, and that's pretty much that. Chiefs walk all over the Vikings, or did they? Personally, I thought that was a little more nastier than it was on the score in the game than it was on the scoreboard. However, the Vikings held their own, fought back. What a game. Matt Moore continues to prove why he is actually a starter, in my opinion. Don't know when Mahomes coming back, but I'll tell you what, Matt Moore is absolutely, I think he is coming back this week or something close, but Matt Moore looked freaking great. They looked good. This was a very good football game. Came down to, of course, a game-winning field goal by Harrison Butker, 44 yards. Game over. Chiefs will win this one, 26-23 at home.
So I'm just wondering what Matt Moore's record is as a quarterback, considering, again, Kirk Cousins struggles against quarterbacks that have a 500 record or better. I mean, with the Chiefs, he's 0-1, but, you know, Matt Moore has played in more NFL games than than anyone expects. So yeah, that's a tough one for the Vikings. I'd actually picked the Vikings to win that one. They have another tough matchup coming up, which I won't spoil.
Alrighty, well, with that said, Dolphins and Jets. Talk about a game that was just actually a very good football game. Two teams, I guess, weren't, not the cream of the crop, but certainly a well-earned victory. Dolphins with the applause button is reserved here, y'all. The Dolphins earned their first victory of the season. It only took them 9 weeks, but they got it done as they will defeat the Jets 26-18. Great job overall. Fitzpatrick made some Fitzmagic happen. 3 touchdowns. You know what? Go in your area, Taryn, former volleyball player Gesicki will have a pretty decent game. Mike Gesicki, big boy out of, I forgot where he came from, but the big giant coming out of Penn State, and 6 receptions, 95 yards, not a bad day. Really happy for the Dolphins. They got this thing done.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely a big win for the Dolphins. I don't know. The only thing that would have made this matchup better would have been if Josh Rosen played against Sam Darnold, because those two went to USC and UCLA respectively, with Darnold going to SC and then Rosen going to UCLA. And also those two are Southern California products, as Rosen's a product of St. John Bosco and Darnold's a product of San Clemente High, which, one town, one team. So, yeah, I just hope Sam Darnold can get it together. I do feel bad for the poor guy, because now he's kind of like a joke or a meme. I hope he's able to turn it around. Maybe if he goes to a better NFL team, maybe he'll go to the Chargers one day, and maybe just he'll come home and he'll adapt well with Anthony Lynn. Maybe we'll be able to see him flourish.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, I would really like that. So, and by the way, big ups to those 2 schools, man. St. John Bosco, they will start next week in the CIF playoffs. D1 starts next week. They'll be taking on Calabasas, which should be a really good football game. And then, of course, we're just talking Southern California high school football. My apologies. But, and then, of course, that should be a very good football game, in my opinion. Very, very, very good football game. Depending on really how, kind of which team shows up. And then, of course, we have, let's see here, San Clemente. I forgot who the heck they actually play. I think they're like Division 4, I forgot. But, San Clemente plays, I will actually find that for you guys, my apologies. Valencia. They're Division 2. And in my opinion, Rancho Verde is going to run through that entire thing. Without a doubt in my mind, Coach Duffy and Rancho Verde are going to dominate that entire bracket. So, that's just my opinion. But, of course, we're talking plenty about that of course, today, that's why I'm going to be, really happy about today, man. Finally, goal line stand gets started. I figured last week, just give you guys a quick explanation for what happened. I ended up recording the video, and the whole thing was like an hour and 40 minutes, which is defeating the purpose of the video. So I figured what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting it up into different types of different videos are all going to be different. They're going to be kind of independent. But I'll be talking, one will be college and high school, chopping it up, and the other one I'll be talking some NFL, quick and dirty hits. But yeah, it would be pretty cool. I'm going to be doing Division 1, FBS, and NFL together, and then high school, Triple CAA, JUCO, of course. Well, what do you call it? Triple CAA and NJCAA, Division 3, Division 2, and FCS all together. And then once again, the other one will be the FBS and NFL together. So that's how it will roll, how it'll go down. It'll be about 30 minutes a piece, but they'll be pretty fun, and I'm really excited to record those suckers coming up. But anyway, so I'll be getting into all that good stuff there, and then, of course, tomorrow I'll be getting way more in to NFL with 3 and out, with 3 more primetime face-offs, and wouldn't you know it, Taryn? Drop the gauntlet, brother. We go head-to-head tomorrow night on the show. How you feel about that?
Oh, I'm really excited. I think we have a lot of head-to-head matchups, not just when it comes to that. As you said, Cal Baptist is playing Long Beach State in women's basketball. I also want to believe that Riverside City is playing OCC this week, and I also believe we are facing off against each other in fantasy football. So this is basically
awesome. Hey, this is just not our week, buddy.
This is basically the Taryn versus Larry rivalry.
I love this week. Dude, we gotta make this a thing. I hope we get to play next week next year in fantasy football like this, but we gotta make this a thing. We gotta tally up the score, dude. I'm so down for this week. But this is gonna be awesome, man. And that's right, I do believe, oh my gosh, RCC plays OCC. Taryn, I just want to apologize ahead of time. I'm sorry, Taryn. So sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
we know what's going to
I know.
We know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I would like it to be a good close game. The game against Golden West started out really good. Our quarterback even threw 4 picks in the first quarter, and it was a really good game all the way into the half, and then we won 56-6. But, I mean, it was a good game in the first half, so I'm just saying. But anyway, so we digress. But okay, so moving forward, we have Eagles and the Bears. Oh boy, Eagles 22, Bears 14. And Darren, this is the battle of the extremely inconsistent teams. I mean, the Eagles, you don't know who they're going to be each week. You have no idea. The Eagles can come out and lay a freaking egg. Get it? Haha. And then the Bears could go into freaking hibernation. I mean, I don't get it. Both of these teams are amazing, and then they're not that good at the same exact time. Well, they face off, and they actually both kind of showed up. It was only an 8-point victory for the Eagles, but the Eagles got it done, and their inconsistency continues because we don't know if they're going to win or lose next week. We don't know if the Bears are going to win or lose next week. I mean, that's a given in any given sport, but on any given day, of course. But the thing is these two teams, the inconsistency has been consistent. So, anyway, your thoughts, Darren?
So yeah, that was a pretty weird game. As you said, both teams were very inconsistent. It was pretty much all Eagles to start the game, and then Chicago started to wake up a little bit, but it was just too little too late. And, all I gotta say is, we're saying no Bears, no! No Bears, no! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Carson Wentz showed you up today.
You're cold, but that deserves an applause. That was awesome. That was cold-blooded. But it was pretty funny. So, anyway, with that said, the Steelers and the Colts in a game that was just... I mean, when you lose Jacoby Brissett, which I hope he comes back soon. I don't know what what his injury looks like, but I just hope he comes back soon. Anyway, long story short, Steelers just had a little more umph at the end. Colts lost a quarterback and still played pretty freaking good. But I think that was the main thing. I hate to say it and to lean on one thing, but I felt the Colts are just a better team than the Steelers. I feel like the Colts really could have won this thing, but unfortunately without Brissett, they did all they could, but it just wasn't enough. Steelers win this one 26-24 at home in Heinz Field. Decent game, but I just really think that Brissett was a big deal in this game. So, Darren.
Yeah, that was a really tough loss for Indianapolis, losing their quarterback and just losing that game off of a missed field goal from Adam Vinatieri. Mm-hmm. Brian Hoyer did all he could to just come back to rally the Colts, but the Steelers just had an answer for everything. Whether it was Mason Rudolph, James Conner, or any of those other players, the Steelers had an answer for the Colts. And don't look now, but the Steelers are starting to claw their way back into relevancy after that 0-3 start. So, it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers made the playoffs after this 0-3 start, but, you definitely got to tip your hat to them, because it looks like they were heading south, but now they're heading the correct direction, and I think they can make the AFC race a lot interesting. But I have been hearing that Brissett could be starting next Saturday, but I'm not certain. The Colts play the Dolphins, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I
maybe just rest him for that one game, considering you don't want to risk his injury being a lot worse. If he can't fully go, then there's no use risking his injury getting worse. I think it was like an MCL sprain.
Yeah, so best not to risk him, especially against a team that's not going to be much of a game. So anyway, Panthers and the Titans in a game that was another. Panthers have a reason to be inconsistent without Cam Newton, but the Titans are just a mess. Like, I don't get it. One week, I'm like, okay, the Bucs are going to destroy them last week. No, they beat the Bucs at home. And then they go on the road. I'm like, okay, you know what? They're going to beat the Panthers on the road. Nope, they lose. Like, so seriously, Titans, I mean, get your freaking crap together. Like, I mean, come on, man. Anyway, Panthers look pretty good. 30-20 at home. Not a bad job. But we've got to speed it up, Terrence. So, not a bad job. What's your thoughts on this game, man?
I knew the Panthers were going to win that game. I honestly knew it. I don't mean to say the I knew it guy, but, I think on paper the Panthers are just so much better than the Titans.
Well, they certainly were that Sunday, I'll tell you that. Seahawks and Bucs go into overtime, and wouldn't you know it, Russell Wilson and a guy that we haven't heard much of, but Jacob Hollister, into the end zone, 10-yard pass into the end zone with 6:22 to go, and the Seahawks win this thing in overtime versus those Buccaneers, 40-34. What a job! Darren, your thoughts, man?
That was a crazy game, but honestly, Russell Wilson is just a freaking magician. He's known for making big plays and coming up big for the Seahawks. So, not too surprising. I knew the Seahawks would win, but I didn't think it would go OT.
Yeah, I mean,
hats off to the Bucs, though.
I'm so proud of those Seahawks, man. Great job. Next up, those Broncos and the Browns. Wouldn't you know it, the Browns continue to be also a very inconsistent team. And I honestly just got to deem them a paper team now because they are great on paper, but they don't show it on the field. Sorry. And the Broncos, maybe they're a little better than we thought. Noah Fant continues to show why he's such a damn good player, why he was a first-round draft pick. Iowa produced not one but two. The other one going to Detroit, but TJ Hawkinson. But Noah Fant actually scoring a touchdown in this game, and the Broncos looking pretty good, 24-19 at home over the Browns.
Yeah, that was one of those weird games. Couldn't really predict a clear-cut winner. The Broncos defense was definitely good, but I thought the Browns would do a whole lot better than that. So, this is definitely another trouble in paradise when it comes to Cleveland. And the worst part is, people projected the Browns to be good, but now this year, they're kind of underachieving. And to me, the Browns are pretty much boom or bust.
That's a good way of putting it. Next up, how about them Chargers? Oh my gosh. The Packers, after the game, Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, that was a good slice of humble pie for us. And honestly, it was a good slice of humble pie because the Chargers, who I thought were freaking just falling apart at the seams, well, they got a pretty good victory, 26-11 at home. Talk about a good victory. Taryn, I know you're proud of your Chargers, man.
Oh, yeah. I think this is probably the best and most complete game the Chargers have played this year, especially against a team that hot. That team was averaging I don't know, maybe 30 points a game, and then they were held to just 11. They barely can. I think they, toward the midway point of the third quarter, I think they only had 4 first downs from what I heard. So, that's definitely impressive by the Chargers. That's a huge win. I honestly thought that Green Bay was just going to roll over them with that high potent offense, but it's great to see the Chargers are starting to get back together, especially as a Chargers fan.
Yeah, they looked pretty good, and I'm really excited to see this game on Thursday, including this team about to bring up right now, my terrible Oakland Raiders, who still suck something terrible, but we found a way to win. Secondary, thanks for not existing, and linebackers, thanks for not existing. D-line, you barely exist. So, yeah, the Chargers run for freaking 100 yards and throw for over 200-300 yards. Don't be surprised. Anyway, our offense is going to have to bail us out like they usually do, which is kind of messed up because we've had good defenses for the last, 2 decades, but the offense never seemed to be up to par. Now that we have a good offense, now the defense went under. Wonderful. So, anyway, we did enough to get the victory. I'll take it. Whoop-de-doo. But I'm still very irritated with this team. I cannot express my irritation more, and you will hear more of that on 3 and Out. 31-24. Raiders find a way to win this damn game at home. Yay, whoop-de-doo. We're home for the first time in 49 days. But is what it is. Let's actually, keep the momentum going. If we can beat the Chargers on Thursday, maybe there's hope that we actually won't suck for the rest of the year. If we do, another year that the Raiders are absolutely trash. Taryn, your thoughts, man?
So, that was a weird game overall. I thought, I thought the Lions were, no offense, Larry, but I actually thought the Lions were just going to squeak that one out. But on, fourth down, their coach, I guess, calls timeout, which was totally weird. And they had a player wide open that if they had just played that down, I think that would have been an easy touchdown for the Lions. But, they gave the Raiders another chance to, line up and just find up their matchups. And, that was just a weird game. I was, now the Chargers have zero excuses for losing to the Lions. They kept the Lions in that game for way too long, and then they eventually just lost to the Lions overall. So, Thursday will be interesting between the Raiders and Chargers. And by the way, every team in the AFC West won last week, while every team in the NFC North lost last week. So nothing really changed that week in terms of standings.
Interesting. Well, it was actually the Raiders who called the timeout and gave the Lions another chance. I thought they were going to score because I was like, let the freaking clock run out. But whatever.
My bad.
It's all good. But it's what it is. We still came out on the winning side of that. But anyway, the irritation continues with being a Raider fan. Anyway, Thursday, Sunday Night Football, quick and dirty. Ravens brought it to the damn Patriots, and this was just a good game. This was a good game. Ravens took the lead early, never looked back. What a victory. Jackson looked good. This entire team looked good. Marquise Brown, this dude got off, man. Amazing game by this team. Ravens pulled off the victory 37-20 at home, giving the Patriots their first loss of the season.
Yeah, that was definitely a great game. Lamar Jackson was just amazing for the Ravens, and the Patriots. They finally played an actual opponent, not just those cookie cutter opponents. So, but as for the Patriots, they have a bye week next week, so they're definitely going to need to figure it out. But this loss should probably fuel their fire to possibly not lose ever again, because we all know that a loss can be tough, but it's only tough if you dwell on it and if you just let it consume you. When you lose, you basically have to learn from it and get better from it, and then just let it fuel your hunger and desire to continue to win more. And who knows, maybe these two teams will meet in the playoffs. So, yeah. And you saw the Chiefs. Oh, wait, no, never mind. So, yeah.
I would absolutely love to see us two go head-to-head in the playoffs, man. And then, of course, last night, Cowboys and Giants go head-to-head. And no, two upsets would not happen in 1 week. Like the way that one did on Sunday night. Cowboys, it was a close game for a while. Long story short, Cowboys blew it up, and not totally blew it up, but especially at the end. But I'll tell you what, Cowboys got this thing done 37-18 at home. Giants, rough go, but I really do like a lot Daniel Jones at quarterback. And the Cowboys, well, you know what? It's a game they should have won.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely earned that win. It was a rough start to begin with Dak throwing a pick. But the thing about the Giants is they just couldn't cash in. They had so many opportunities to score a touchdown, and they only came away with a field goal. It's like, what? Come on, man. What are you doing? Come on, man. That is definitely a come on, man moment.
Yeah, they had lots of opportunities.
Yeah, and why couldn't they just run the ball to Saquon? Saquon can easily muscle his way in. I mean, it backfired on on the first down, but why don't you try it on like second down again, or third down, or just throw a screen past him? I don't know. It's just another come on, man moment.
Yeah, total crap, but hopefully we get some better football out of the Giants before this year concludes, because I definitely want to see them do a lot better next year, especially with their new quarterback. So, coming up this week, as we mentioned already, Chargers and Raiders, of course, in Oakland. Going to be a battle between these two teams. Chargers at 4-5, Raiders at 4-4. Thursday night. Then we have on to Sunday. Let's see here. Sunday, we have Vikings and Cowboys. That's going to be another really good game for Sunday Night Football. Vikings at 6-3, Cowboys at 5-3. And then Monday, we have here Seahawks and Niners. Seahawks at 7-2, Niners at 8-0. Can they hand them their first loss of the season? Can the Seahawks hand the Niners their first loss of the season? We shall see. But anyway, in those three games, clearly we're picking our teams on Thursday Night Football. But for the other two, Taryn, your thoughts real quick on Vikings-Cowboys.
That's going to be an interesting matchup. I really want to pick the Vikings, but Dak is just way too good. Dak and Zeke are just the two-headed monster, and then you throw in Amari Cooper, that's basically the three-headed monster. And again, Cousins struggles against quarterbacks that have a record of 500 or better, and I'm pretty sure Dak has won more games than he's lost, so I probably got to pick the Cowboys. Yeah,
it'll be a good game. I'll get my pick tomorrow for on 3 and Out. But it'll be a good game there. And, of course, you want more Darren versus Larry week. Well, tomorrow, primetime face-off tomorrow. Be ready. Right around 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Get ready for this showdown tomorrow. Of course, we got a Viking and a Cowboy going head-to-head, and then a Niner and a Seahawk. And getting into Monday Night Football, your thoughts on this game, Darren?
That's going to be a really good game. I'm very excited to see how the Seahawks will do against the Niners and vice versa. This could be the Niners' first loss of the season, because Seattle is definitely can play well, and that's going to be at San Francisco, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the Seahawks play in Santa Clara, and Pete Carroll will probably come prepared, because he can come prepared more times. He comes prepared more times than not. He's
a damn beast. I'm always going to be a fan. He has USC fight on forever. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get on into some college football for the week. And we're just going to go do D1, because once again, I got plenty of videos coming out for Goal Line Stand, and lots of good stuff there, of course, coming up. But stick with the top 25 for college. Last week, 2 very good games. West Virginia shows that they are they're not the team they were last year, but they're not much worse than the team they were last year. Baylor, number 12 Baylor, defeats them 17-14 on Thursday, Halloween night last week. And then to talk about it again, Taryn actually tweeted me about this, so I didn't even know what was going on. Georgia Southern will actually upset number 20 Appalachian State, 24-21. Any thoughts on this there?
That was very shocking. I definitely was not expecting Georgia Southern to pull out that victory. I was like, whoa. That just came up on my timeline. It's like, whoa. That was a really cool win. Talk about giving a trick instead of a treat for App State.
Absolutely. Great game there. And then we'll get on to Saturday's games that were ranked, of course. We had number 14, Michigan over Maryland 38-7 on the road. We also had, let's see, what else do we have here? Number 23, Wake Forest. Kind of a beat down here, defeating NC State 44-10. Number 16, Notre Dame, defeating Virginia Tech 21-20 in a game. And Notre Dame had to fight back the entire game and freaking finally pull this thing off at the end. I'll tell you what, the Hokies, man, got to give them so much credit. The Fighting Irish actually won this thing with 29 seconds to go. Ian Book and the 7-yard keeper, and there it is, guys. And then the extra point by Jonathan Doer, I don't want to butcher his name, but 21-20. And Notre Dame actually, they did this thing, man. They pulled it out, but the Hokies gave them one heck of a fight. After that, we had another really good game here. SEC battle. Number 8, Georgia will pull out a 24-17 victory over number 6, Florida. We had a Kansas battle, of course. I love this matchup in basketball. In football, it's not usually the best game, because they're kind of both hit or miss teams. More Kansas than Kansas State, hit or miss. But Tyler Lockett was very proud of his team, I'm sure, because the Kansas State Wildcats, the number 22 Kansas State Wildcats, will defeat Kansas 30-10 on the road. Number 44. Well, that was pretty much the margin of victory. I'm just kidding. Well, actually, it was pretty close, actually. But number 4, Clemson will knock off Wofford 59-14, which I'm just really bothered of why these big teams play FCS schools. Kind of annoying. I mean, one is cool, but why do you have to have so many? I think this is like the second or third Clemson's played. I don't know. Let me look at their schedule. But anyway, whatever. Anyway, number 9, Utah taking on Washington. Utah gets a nice victory here. Close game, 33-28 over Washington on the road. Number 11, Auburn over Ole Miss, 20-14. Auburn needed that victory after the losses to LSU, I'll tell you that. And then Cincinnati, almost close call here. Actually, it was an overtime game. 46-43. Talk about a good football game. Actually, no, it was not an overtime game. Sorry about that. It was a field goal game. And yeah, Sam Crosa actually nails the 32-yard field goal as time expired, and the Bearcats win this thing on the road. Talk about a great game there. And then number 21, Boise State and San Jose State will go head-to-head. Very good football game here. 10-point difference, but it will go in favor of the Smurf turf, and they were on the road. That's right. The Broncos win 52-42, and then in the game that has kind of pissed me off, but at the same exact time, the better team won. By far, the better team won. Number 7, Oregon just takes USC around the woodshed. 56-24. No surprise here, which, of course, I would have loved to seen it go the other way, but whatever. USC just couldn't hang. Oregon was just too good. And then, of course, in the big game, Saturday Night Football, number 24, in their really cool uniforms, the Memphis Tigers will defeat those really tough number 15 SMU Mustangs, 54-48. Talk about a good football game. So, Taryn, any thoughts, comments on any of those games?
So, yeah, I definitely would have liked to see USC pull off that victory over Oregon. It looked really promising, and then Oregon just somehow just woke up, and it also didn't help that USC lost one of their better defensive players, and it also didn't help that Oregon. I'm not going to use this as an excuse, but USC didn't get the calls that they needed against Oregon. They were playing just as dirty as USC was. So, but overall, USC is just going to wash this loss off onto Arizona State. I want them to be bowl game eligible. So, yeah.
Don't we all? I mean, well, at least USC fans. But yeah, I'd love to see that. But anyway, so next week, man, we got some great ones coming up here. I am so excited for, of course, the best game, I think, of the season. Number 1. That's right. They're number 1 now, baby. Number 1, LSU taking on number 2, Alabama. This is going to be a freaking fight. They're going to be in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be a rumble. It always is. And I'm so excited for this game, guys. So that's going to be a great one coming up this weekend. As well as we got another couple good games. Penn State, undefeated. Number 5 Penn State goes on over to Minnesota to take on undefeated number 13 Minnesota. Some people are even putting them in the national championship, which I don't think they should be there. But Minnesota is without a doubt. I mean, they can find themselves there by next year, I'll tell you that. But amazing job that the Gophers have done. The Gold Gophers have done this year. So that should be coming up. Good stuff there. And number 18, Iowa at 6-2, taking on number 16, Wisconsin. Wisconsin this year has dropped 2. Haven't looked at the same team. I don't know, but something tells me that's going to be a good game. So, anyway, with all of that said, that's what we've got coming up for this week. And let's go ahead and jump on over to the top 25. But before I read that off, Taryn, any thoughts on on any of those games?
So, I know you're a big SCSU fan, and I'm surprised you didn't mention San Diego State. But San Diego State's 7-1, and San Diego State, they're looking pretty good. They're bowl game eligible, and they have some really good wins. So I want to see some love for those Aztecs.
Absolutely. I was looking at the rankings right now. They're actually 24. We jumped into the freaking rankings, so I'm really proud of that. So they moved up 1 from last week, and I guess they were ranked last week, so even better. So happy, very proud of the Aztecs. Been out the loop for a few weeks, but yeah, the Aztecs, Coach Rocky Long over there doing his thing. They got Nevada this week. Should be a good game against the Wolfpack in the Mountain West, but very proud of those Aztecs. Let's go ahead and get on into this week, the top 25. So we have here, from 25-21, we have Navy, San Diego State. SMU will drop 8 spots, my gosh. Wake Forest jumping up 1, and Boise State. Then we have from 20-16, Kansas State jumping up 2. Memphis in their really cool uniforms jumping up 5 to 18, to 19. Iowa jumping up 1 to 18. Cincinnati staying at 17, and Wisconsin jumping up 2 to 16. After that, we have from 15 to 11, Notre Dame jumping up 1 to 15. Michigan, Minnesota, Auburn dropping 1 to 12, and Baylor jumping up, the old switcheroo right there, 1 to 11. Then we have at 10, Florida, after taking that loss to Georgia, will tumble 4 spots down to number 10. Oklahoma jumping up 1 to number 9. Utah jumping up 1 to number 8. Oregon staying at 7. And Georgia jumping up 2 to number 6. And then the top 5 is exactly the same as it was last week. Penn State at 8-0. Clemson at 9-0. Ohio State at 8-0, Alabama at 8-0, and LSU at 8-0. And tonight, well, we get the rankings. So actually, this isn't even the latest, guys. This is actually the old rankings from last week, because tonight the unveil happens. Personally, I'm going to give my thoughts on this real quick. Personally, if I had to give the top 6 right now, well, I'm going to go backwards the way it always goes. I'm going to go number 1 LSU, number 2 Alabama. Nothing, they're going to stay, okay? Ohio State deserves to be at number 3. And honestly, as much as I want to throw out Clemson and put in Penn State, I can't just yet. They struggled enough. Clemson, a couple years ago, they struggled against Troy, and they almost lost to them, and that pissed me off that they were so high. But this year, they nearly had a couple near losses. They damn near lost to the Tar Heels this year. But, yeah, they're all right, so whatever. Those top 4, to me, are going to stay the same, which means that Clemson would play LSU, and Ohio State would play Alabama, which ultimately means, in my opinion, that it's going to end up being LSU and Alabama anyway, because I feel like LSU and Alabama could win those 2 games. So, which I think it would be a very good game, both of those games. But for right now, that's how I would have it. And then the first 2 out, I would actually have Penn State, and I don't want to sound like a total jerk or a homer here. And I know they didn't really beat the best team this past weekend, but seriously, they deserve to be there. And I'm going to put Oregon at number 6 over Georgia. I know. Hate me, everybody in the SEC. Sorry. But I just honestly feel like Oregon, they're a good team. I would love to see them play Georgia. So, I don't know. Some people are not going to like that. I'm totally being biased. But you know what? The freaking rankings do it all the time. They have an East Coast bias and SEC bias. So, you know, I could have a Pac-12 bias. I don't care. So, anyway, those are my thoughts. Taryn?
Yeah, that's definitely pretty much accurate. You know, I would like to see Oregon in the playoff. I want to see a better overall playoff system. I want to see. I don't like this whole top 4 teams get in. Make it like top 8 or something. As for a potential Alabama-Ohio State matchup, I think Ohio State could challenge Alabama because Ohio State is pretty darn good, you know. And I remember like a few years ago when Ohio State won it all, you know, they upended Alabama in a playoff game. So. So, you know, you never know with these top 4 teams, and you never know with what Clemson can do. I think Clemson could probably come on a little later in the season. You know, I think they play their best football in the later stages of their season. So we'll see how it goes.
As we can see, Taryn is ready to go for a set point in a little bit, man, here on IE Sports Radio. So definitely looking forward to that coming up. But yeah, I can totally see that as well with Ohio State and Alabama. That could be quite the game. So, all right, let's go ahead and move it on here. So that's pretty much what's to come this week And those are the rankings, well, from last week, and the rankings will be coming up for this week, coming up pretty soon. Well, tonight, of course, in the rankings show, so be ready for that. And that is it for some college football. All right, so let's go ahead and move it on here. Got about another 40 minutes left here in the show, around there, give or take. So let's go ahead and jump on over now into a little bit of a recap of the World Series, because, I mean, there's nothing really to say here, Taryn. I think everyone's already said everything. I know we're a week late to the party, but, man, the Nationals got it done. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 MLB World Series champions, the Washington Nationals. So proud of this team. First time they've ever done it. Ever. Okay? They were there in 1933, they lost to, I think, the Yankees that year. And then in 1981, they made it, or I don't know if that was the year they lost the Yankees. Maybe it was 81 they did. But they made it once in 1981, they lost. So, and that was the Montreal Expos, okay, when they were the Expos. So, anyway, as we can see here, good football game. See, Taryn, we're just setting our spot, man. You said volleyball, I said football, and it's baseball, so my bad. But great series. And you can't ask for more about these teams, but history was made, and every game one was on the road. Crazy, man. The Nationals start out with 2 victories on the road. Then they go back. Well, then they go to D.C., where they play 3 games in a row, and the Astros win all 3 there. And then they go over back to Houston, and the Nationals pulled off game 6 and 7 and won it all. And just what a game. What a game 7. It was actually, the Astros were even leading in game 7, and the Nationals came back and won this thing. Just what a job. You can't ask for any more out of either of your teams. They fought till the very end. But overall, Taryn, your thoughts on this World Series, man?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the more exciting World Series. I gotta feel bad, even though I'm an Angels fan. I gotta feel bad for the Astros, just because you had the lead in the going into the 7th inning, and then Greinke gives up a homer, and then I think the Astros took Greinke out, and then suddenly the wheels start to fall off. But for the Astros, I definitely can see them getting back into the World Series sometime soon, just because they definitely have one of the more complete teams. Obviously Garrett Cole's future is uncertain, and a few others' futures are uncertain, but they're definitely one of the favorites in the AFC, or not AFC, gosh, now the football's starting to rub off on me, the American League West. So, yeah, and unless the Angels acquire some really good pitching, the Texas Rangers and the Chicago get their stuff together, the Mariners get out of their rebuild mode, and the Oakland A's figure out their little elimination game playoff curse, I definitely can see the Astros back in the World Series, and I definitely think they can win the AL West. I just think that they're just a complete team in regards to pitching and hitting wise, and their bullpen was a little shaky, but everyone's bullpen is shaky.
Yeah, they are a good team. Without a doubt, I think they're going to be going back next year. As the Nationals, don't know about that. They're actually, I think, on average, well, because of average age, the oldest team in baseball last year, and they won it all. So congratulations to them. Howie and all the boys, man. Howie Kendrick, of course, he's a Dodger. And, an Angel, then a Dodger. I'm so proud to see him win one, man, over there in the nation's capital. So, hats off to the Nationals once again as we close the door on the MLB season. And, here we go, off to the hot stove season. And plenty to talk about there. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, Mr. Blake Henley and Mr. Brandon Buckingham will be given the season finale of Bases Loaded here on iSports Radio. They'll have a couple shows throughout the offseason, and then they will see y'all coming up in March, yes, for spring training. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and close the door on the 2019 MLB season and go on over now to a little bit of Rugby World Cup action, guys. Hosting the Webb Ellis Cup this year. Congratulations to South Africa. They did it, y'all. South Africa gets it done as they would win their third Rugby World Cup title in the Rugby World Cup history, and their first since 2007, guys. And the crazy part about this is, the last time they won it in 2007 was also over England. So, amazing job by South Africa. They get it done, and what a World Cup this was. Amazing stuff. I mean, I wish I could have watched more of it. Of course, the games were on over here on the West Coast in the U.S. Super crazy because, games were on like midnight, 2, 3 in the morning. But amazing job by these teams. And just what a fight by South Africa, and a really, really, really good game. 32-12, by the way, final score, and South Africa gets this thing done. So, your thoughts, Darren?
Big ups to South Africa. You said?
Yes.
Yeah. Big ups to South Africa. They definitely earned that victory, and they're definitely standing on top of the ladder, saying "Ain't nobody better." And good for them. Good for them. I'm really happy for them. I just wish USA could have been a little bit better, but oh well.
Yeah, the Eagles were eliminated early, but we'll
share the wealth.
Yeah, hopefully we can get better in rugby soon. But moving on over to some auto sports, we have here Formula One, actually, yesterday. Congratulations, guys. He gets it done. Lewis Hamilton earns his 6th Formula One title. He is now just one behind the great Michael Schumacher. Amazing job. I think he can do it. He's only, 34, 35 years old. He's got a lot left in him. I really do think that Lewis Hamilton is on his way. And got it done yesterday in the USA. We only got a couple more Grand Prix to go for the year. The title's already been decided. The constructor's already been decided. Right now we're just kind of racing for fun in the last couple of races. But great job to Lewis Hamilton. And he will, his partner, his teammate, Valtteri Bottas, will actually win the race. And it will be his 7th career victory and his 4th of the season as he takes the checkered flag in 2019 U.S. Grand Prix. But I'll tell you what, great job by Lewis Hamilton. And it just goes to show you, we had a stint of Ferrari victories in there this year, especially the one at Italy was a very special moment. But I'll tell you what, by Charles Leclerc, and then I forgot which race Vettel won. He won, I think, Singapore after that. But I'll tell you what, certainly a year dominated again by Mercedes, but man, it's awesome to see history in the making, and Lewis Hamilton continues to make that history. So once again, we are all finished off with the points and everything. There's really no reason to keep them anymore. We're just I think a couple more races out from the ending of the season. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at it here. Yeah, we have 2 more races to go. And courtesy of the Formula One app, we have Brazil coming up here next weekend. And after that, we have Abu Dhabi coming up at the very end of the year. That'll be on December 1st. And that is it all the way until March. And then Formula One starts up again. And can Lewis Hamilton tie it up next year? We will see. So, with that said, Taryn, any thoughts on Formula One?
Not really, other than the fact that if you have a Mercedes, if you drive a Mercedes, you should be proud.
Absolutely. Next up in NASCAR, in the NASCAR playoffs, Kevin Harvick gets it done, guys. He's on his way to the championship 4. That's right. He will win it all in Texas at the AAA Texas 500. Getting it done, and that'll be his 49th career victory. Hats off to him, man. 4th of the season. Kevin Harvick is going to find himself in the Championship 4 at Homestead, Miami. Really exciting, guys, because this is just going to be a really neat, really neat Championship 4. Last week in Martinsville, Martin Truex Jr. would stamp his ticket. Now Kevin Harvick is in it. Next week, we are going to ISM in Phoenix. Whoever wins that goes, and then whoever wins it all in points, also, or whoever's closest in points at that point in time, will go. So right now, As I mentioned, Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick are both in. Kyle Busch has yet to stamp his ticket. Logano, Hamlin, Blaney, Larson, Elliott, and Keselowski to finish out the top 10. So really, it's like who's it going to be? Last year, as a matter of fact, at ISM, really cool little track. It's very different little track. Of course, they renamed it, and it's a crazy little track here. But last year in this race, courtesy of the ESPN Score Center app, we had Kyle Busch win it. And he would not win the title last year, but can Kyle Busch do it again? Stamp his ticket, and then on points, who's it going to be? Logano or Busch? Those are the next two out from Harvick and Truex, who are already in. Well, Hamlin, who's had a pretty impressive year, get in there. Ryan Blaney, he's had a pretty good year. Kyle Larson, somebody to definitely not count out. He's usually good on these shorter tracks. Chase Elliott this year has had a very good year. 2 victories, I believe, winning especially one of the gems of the season in Darlington. Brad Keselowski, a guy who you just cannot count out, champion a couple years back, and even William Byron running that 24 that Jeff Gordon used to drive. So, I don't know, really cool stuff here coming up. So, anyway, your thoughts on ISM coming up this week, Taryn?
I will say this about the NASCAR playoffs. I actually saw that Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin got into one another like a few weeks ago, and I was like, what the heck is happening? So it must have been like a little bit of a disagreement or something that happened on the track, but that's just a come on man moment. It's like, come on man, life's too short to be getting into arguments about that or holding grudges. So, but overall, I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the NASCAR playoffs, but still, come on man.
Moving forward, we have the NHRA. This past week made some history. How about this? Erica Enders winning the 150th overall race for women. Great job, Erica Enders. And the 900th Top Fuel event belongs to Miss Brittany Force. Congratulations to those two ladies getting it done. And, well, there you go. So, those two ladies will, of course, there you go. We have in Pro Stock Motorcycle this week, Matt Smith, last year's champion, getting it done in the bikes this week. Eric Enders wins it in Pro Stock. Matt Hagan, the man who has been deemed too much man for the car from the Extra Mile team. And here on iSports Radio, it's a pretty funny joke they got running over there, of course. Big dude. If you ever see Matt Hagan, he's kind of swole. Just saying. Big dude. And then we have here Brittany Force winning it all in Top Fuels past week. The countdown to 1 is almost to 1, y'all, as we have one more race left, and I am doing my absolute best to be there in Pomona. I really want to be there, y'all. This is going to be such a neat event. The NHRA finals coming up not this weekend, but next weekend in, let's see here. Yeah, coming up next weekend in Pomona, the Auto Club NHRA Finals. This is going to be so cool. And, well, here we go. That is November 17th. So, looking forward to that. Should be a great race. And, hey, may the best drivers win. So, with that said, Darren, any thoughts on these two?
No, except shout out to Brittany Force. Orange County native. That I was so happy when she won. And shout out to Erica as well. And hopefully they get those wheels running as you said. As the countdown to 1 is down to 1, you said, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that final race and what's going to go on in Pomona.
Yeah, should be a pretty good one there. Next up, let's switch it on over now into some NHL. This should be pretty interesting right now. Boston is getting down, guys. Like, seriously, Boston is pretty exciting. I'll tell you that right now. Boston leads the charge in the Atlantic after 14 games. They are 11-1. They're the only team in the NHL that only has one loss in the year. That says a lot. There are some 2-loss teams out there, like, of course, the Washington Capitals, who I think certainly have, got a little bit of momentum from the Washington Nationals. But I'll tell you what.
And Mystics.
What was that?
And Mystics.
And the Mystics, that's right. So I'm pretty sure Washington's, hey, we want to play too. We want to get another title too. They got one a couple years back, but they're definitely on it right now. So I'll tell you right now, the Boston Bruins are playing right now. They are doing everything in their power to win. To just obliterate. They're doing a damn good job right now. And certainly looking strong moving forward. They just destroyed, well, they didn't destroy it, but they beat the Senators 5-2 on Saturday. Bummer for our Ducks, man. They freaking lost yesterday in overtime to the Blackhawks, but pretty good game there. And the Capitals would take out the Flames last night 4-2, or yesterday. But moving on, I was on Saturday. And then on to yesterday, the Bruins get it done, defeating the Penguins 6-4. Talk about a good game there. The Senators 6-2 over the Rangers. The Predators 6-1 over the Red Wings. And the Coyotes, man. The Coyotes get it done over the Oilers, who are still leading the Pacific, by the way. 3-2 in overtime. So, coming up for today, we got a whole bunch of hockey coming your way, including the Wild taking on the Ducks tonight. Looking forward to that one. We have Senators and Islanders, Hurricanes and Flyers, Golden Knights, Blue Jackets, Bruins, those mighty Bruins taking on the Canadians, Kings, Maple Leafs, Devils and Jets, Avalanche and Stars, Coyotes, Flames, Blues, Canucks, and Blackhawks, Sharks coming your way today. Mr. Nico Green will be all over that on our Twitter feed, by the way, at IE Sports Radio. You ready to take a look at that? But as of right now, in the Atlantic, let's go to points. Courtesy of the ESPN Score Center app, we have Boston with 24, Buffalo with 20, Florida with 18, Toronto with 17, Montreal 16, Tampa Bay, which made it so far last year. They have had a rough start with 14, Ottawa with 9, and Detroit with 9. Moving forward to the Metropolitan, Washington with 25, the Islanders with 20, Carolina with 19, Pittsburgh with 19, Philadelphia with 14, the Columbus Blue Jackets with 13, the New York Rangers with 11, and the New Jersey Devils with 10. Moving on over to the West, we have St. Louis with 21, Nashville with 20, Colorado with 18, Winnipeg with 16, Dallas with 15, Chicago with 11, and Minnesota with 9. And then moving over to the Pacific, Edmonton with 20, Vancouver with 20, Edmonton with 22, Vancouver with 20, Arizona with 19, Anaheim with 19, Vegas with 18, Calgary with 18, the Kings with 10, and the Sharks with 9. So, Taryn, your thoughts on any of that in the NHL?
So, I just want to give a huge shout-out to Ryan Getzlaf of the Anaheim Ducks on playing in his 1,000th career game. It's against the Chicago Blackhawks. That's just amazing. Tonight, the Ducks are going to honor him against the Minnesota Wild, and that's just amazing. 1,000 games. It definitely takes a toll on your body, but we definitely got to give him a round of applause for that one. He is just a beast, man.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Getzlaf. Very proud of this guy. It's a lot of hockey to play. So, really cool there for him to accomplish such a great milestone. Coming up this week, we've got some good ones. Oh my gosh, we got some good ones. Blues and Oilers should be a very good game tomorrow. Also, the Red Wings taking on the Rangers. I'm looking forward to Golden Knights and Maple Leafs on Thursday. Two teams there from different sides of the country. The Golden Knights actually doing not too bad right now. They're looking pretty strong. The Maple Leafs, as always, it's like they have to play strong in the Atlantic, all the great hockey that got over there. As of that, we have on to Friday, which there is a very good game here I would hope it's a very good game, because the Sabres, they started out last year good, and then they just kind of fell off. And the Lightning, who, like I said, they're having a tough year. It's going to be the Global Series coming up here, NHL Global Series. And they are playing let's see here. They are playing, once again, Lightning and Sabres. And this game is actually going to be in... And wouldn't you know it? It doesn't say. Well, that's wonderful. But, let's see here. But I'll tell you what. Certainly going to be a great game if I could ever figure out where the heck it's going to be. But I'm really excited the fact that they're doing this. I love when you get everybody involved. Of course, hockey is very big in the Scandinavian countries. Hockey is just it's a big sport. Wherever it's cold, you're going to see a lot of hockey. So I'm really, really, really excited for this series. And, every year, it's kind of the same exact thing as the NFL, playing overseas. In England, it's really neat when these teams can go out and play, abroad, play out in the world. And if they didn't already have fans there, give those fans there a chance to see the sport live. And on top of that, maybe even attract some new fans. So I think it's really cool, getting ready for that. And then, of course, we have here coming up on Saturday. This should be another, it's actually the Global Series. It's a two-part game. Sabres and Lightning play again the next day. But I will tell you what, this game is going to be, this is exciting. Why? Because one team is just, they haven't had the best start. They really haven't. But they're, at some point in the season they're going to strike. And this other team, they seem to always get hot at some point in the season and make things happen. And that, of course, is the Sharks that are, not having the best start, taking on the Predators, who at some point always, get hot and play good. So really excited for that game coming up this week on Saturday. That's going to be like my favorite game on Saturday. And then, of course, got Golden Knights and Capitals. That should be another good one. And then on to Sunday, another big game here. Nico Green, his Edmonton Oilers taking on mine and Terrence Ducks. Should be a pretty good game there. And then another game that I guess I'm interested in. Why? Because I want to see how far these Bruins can go, man. And can the Flyers knock them off? Can the Flyers give them their second loss of the season? I mean, of course, the Bruins got more games before then, but the Bruins are a tough team right now, and they're just rolling. So whoever the Bruins play, I just kind of want to keep an eye on it, not to see if they lose, but to see if they keep winning, because they're on one, man. They're a good hockey team. So anyway, Taryn, any thoughts moving forward on hockey?
I only wish the Nashville San Jose game would be played at Nashville, so because I hope that most teams do this, but whenever the San Jose Sharks come into town and they're the away team, I hope that people play Baby Shark. I really would like to see that happen. I know people hate that song, but it's pretty funny, especially since San Jose is known as San Jose's mascot is known as the Shark. So I think Baby Shark is becoming too much of a trend.
That's really annoying. Like, that is so annoying. So, but yeah, sucks. But anyway, with that said, we are now moving on into some basketball, and I'll tell you something. Basketball is, this year, I am loving it. Why? Because my Lakers are actually relevant. But it is just a really different kind of a start. Right now, Miami. I mean, I know they're not a bad team, but my gosh, Miami, they're starting out pretty okay. Philadelphia, not a bad start for the Sixers. And Boston, looking pretty good. As well as Milwaukee. Teams that are just coming out of the gate. Really excited for them right now. Phoenix actually looking pretty good early. And the Lakers, aside from losing that first game to the Clippers, we haven't lost since. So I'm really, really excited for what's to come for all of those teams going on right now. But in this past week, let's take a look starting on Saturday to take a look at some of the big games that went underway. The Bucks, how about this victory? 115-105 over the Raptors. The 76ers, this is why they're so good. They're fighters, man. They are fighters. 129 over 129 to 128. Big victory. I mean, not a big one, but that's just going to show you how much this team, they are fighters. I mean, amazingly good game there. Next up, we have on to Sunday. Once again, it's all courtesy of the ESPN Sports Center app. Lakers and Spurs, what a good game here. Lakers pull off a great game on the road, 103-96. Very good game there. The Clippers continue to roll, 105-94 over the Jazz. They were home. And then moving on over to last night, some pretty good games as well. Rockets and Grizzlies, 107-100. It shows you the Grizzlies are coming along, but the Rockets, they still got the eggs there. And then the Warriors, just having a very rough start. They get a nice victory over the Trailblazers, which tough go for the Trailblazers there, 127 to 118. So those are kind of what's going down. The Bucks just obliterate the Timberwolves, man, 134 to 106. Pretty big, lopsided game there in a sense. I mean, they still let over 100. But anyway, and then coming up tonight, Lakers and Bulls get underway at 5 o'clock. What does that mean? That means I'm going to be at the CBU Event Center with my phone and my freaking portable charger, chilling there in the student section, hanging out with my fellow Lancers, and watching the score on this game while the ladies take on Long Beach State tonight. So I'll be keeping an eye on this game. So they have TVs in there too, but really excited to see, if the Lakers can, which we should have no problem. I'm not trying to say that, it's going to be this blockbuster game. I would really hope the Lakers actually just come out and make it happen, which I'm really glad. I mean, it'll be nice if they did. But anyway, there. And then another game that's kind of a gimme, which is kind of messed up to say, but Celtics and Cavaliers going on tonight as well. And then another really good game, we have the Heat and the Nuggets. Nuggets last year made a pretty good run. The Heat this year are starting out pretty darn good. So we got that going on, as well as coming up this week, Warriors and Rockets on NBA Wednesday. That's going to be quite the game. Bucks taking on the Clippers is going to be like my favorite game of the week so far that I can see. I really, really like that matchup. Next up, we got, nothing really on Thursday. Friday, all right, let's see what we got on Friday. 76ers and Nuggets. Oh, that is a basketball game right there. And then the Heat and the Lakers. Okay, Friday is officially my favorite day for basketball this week. And let's see if Saturday can top it. No, nothing there for Saturday. That's all that important. I guess Celtics and Spurs can be somewhat of a good game, maybe. And then we have on Sunday, Raptors taking on the Lakers. Oh, that's going to be a good game. And another really good game that I think we're going to have is, you know what? No, it's not going to be a good game. All right, well, that's going to be a really good game, in my opinion, on Sunday. So with that said, before we get to the standings, Taryn, your thoughts?
So, yeah, I'm definitely happy that the Lakers are playing well as of late. I feel this game against the Bulls could be a trap game because they've got a big matchup ahead against Miami. So the Lakers just definitely can't look ahead, and especially since they're playing in Chicago. So they definitely got to keep they definitely got to be on their P's and Q's when it comes to facing the Bulls. But the 76ers, man, I'm just going to say, and this may sound cliche, I think they've definitely trusted the process, and they're definitely pulling out some wins. There are a lot of good teams starting out, such as like Phoenix, which is really good. Dallas is still up there. Like you said, Miami is up there. Boston, which has kind of had an up and down off season, is also doing pretty well. I'm definitely it's still early though, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this season pans out, especially for the Lakers. I definitely want to see the Lakers back in the playoffs, and but they just got to keep up their consistency, and more importantly, they just can't run into this trap game. Like, they could definitely beat the Bulls easily. They definitely got to watch out for the Bulls, because you never know. You never know. They just can't look ahead. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, man. So looking forward to some great basketball coming up here in the East. Let's take a look here at the standings, courtesy of the ESPN Sports Center app. Let's take a look. So we have Atlanta at 5-1, Boston at 4-1, Toronto at 4-2, Brooklyn at 3-4, and in New York, the Knicks at 1-6. In the Central, we have Milwaukee at 5-2, Indiana at 3-3. Detroit at 3-5, Cleveland at 2-4, and Chicago at 2-4. In the Southeast, we have Miami at 5-1, Charlotte at 3-3, Atlanta at 2-3, Orlando at 2-4, and Washington at 2-4. And then moving on to the West, we have in the Northwest, Minnesota at 4-2, Denver at 4-2, Utah at 4-3, Portland at 3-4, and Oklahoma City at 2-4. In the Pacific, the Lakers at 5-1, Phoenix at 5-2, the Clippers at 5-2. The Warriors at 2-5, and Sacramento at 2-5, and then the Southwest, Dallas at 4-2, San Antonio at 4-2, Houston at 4-3, Memphis at 1-5, and New Orleans at 1-6, and that will do it for a little bit of NBA. Anything there to close out the NBA, Darren?
Nothing more except the Lakers won the Anthony Davis trade.
Absolutely. Great point there. And I just want to mention real quick, everybody, my Twitter has just blown up in the last few minutes. Unfortunately, Cam Newton has been placed on the IR, so my apologies for all of the Panther fans. That sucks, because that sucks. I really don't like the fact that, it's going to be a pretty tough year for the Panthers. I thought they had a pretty promising team with Cam Newton, and I'm just really bummed that he's not going to be out there. So, bummer, but hey, that's just unfortunately how it goes. That's football, so thoughts and prayers with you, brother. Hopefully you get better, Cam Newton, and we will see you next year, man. Hopefully better than ever. So, with that said, on to the MLS Cup playoffs real quick. So, quick and dirty, man. How about this, Taryn? Seattle will defeat LAFC 3-1 on the road, and Toronto FC will defeat Atlanta United, last year's champions, on the road as well, 2-1. And the two teams who played in the 2006 MLS final, 2016 MLS Cup final, the 2017 MLS Cup final, and now the 2019 MLS Cup final. The two teams who have played every final they've ever been in against each other will face off yet again in the final. Your thoughts, Darren?
I was very surprised to see LAFC losing to Seattle. It was, me liking the Galaxy, all I gotta say is, how does that feel, LAFC? How does that feel? I shouldn't be that crucial, but, when you beat the Galaxy, it's heartbreaking. So, and I think every Galaxy fan was rooting for Seattle to win that game. So,
just a little.
Yeah. But, you win some, you lose some, and unfortunately, LAFC kind of lost that one, which is too bad, so sad, but life goes on.
Pretty much. So, sorry, LAFC. It's a rivalry, but sucks for you guys. It would have been, nice to see another title in LA, but kind of, at the same as that time, not really a fan of them. But regardless, certainly going to be a really neat MLS Cup final there. And speaking of championships in soccer, once again, it's been a week since we've been a week, sucks, but we have, of course, a new champion in the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, and that is, of course, the NC Courage getting it done. They will defeat the Chicago Red Stars 4-0. They earned their third NWSL championship in franchise history and their second back-to-back. Well, Taryn, he went off on a mid-season rant on the Chicago Stars, and I think they heard you because they started balling out. But they got to the final, and they met their match. And that is saying it lightly.
Yeah, I definitely knew the Courage was going to win that one, just because the Courage are just consistently good. They're just really good, and if the Stars hadn't had that rough patch where they lost to the two worst teams in the NWSL, I think they would be up there with the Courage as well. So, but hats off to them for getting out of that funk and making it to the final. But the Courage just brought it.
Absolutely, man. So, with that said, we'll close the door on the National Women's Soccer League season. See y'all back in April, ladies. And right now, let's talk a little bit about college hoops. College basketball just got underway today. And for the men, we already have some good games coming up today. Let's see if there's any ranked. Of course, at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Number 3, Kansas, taking on number 4, Duke in the State Farm Champions Classic. Definitely looking forward to that game. I'm hopefully going to catch that one. You know what? I'll probably be working out at the rec center or maybe eating lunch during that time after my workout, but I'm definitely going to be tuned into this thing somehow, some way. I don't know if it's on my app, on the ESPN app or not, but I am so freaking excited for this game. Why? Because it's a good football game. I'm sorry, a good basketball game. I'm sorry, I keep on saying football. Taryn, it's just a thing with me. You know that. But with that said, this is going to be quite the basketball game. Coach K, of course, taking on Kansas in this very, very, very crucial matchup. Actually, Kansas is favored 2.5 points, but it should be a good game there. And as for ranked on ranked, we also have one more. Number 1 versus number 2, Michigan State. Coach Izzo over there taking on Coach Calipari. That's going to be a game. That's at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Coming up here, number 1, Michigan State, once again, taking on number 2, Kentucky. So we got number 1 versus number 2, and number 3 versus number 4 in the State Farm Champions Classic. I mean, they couldn't have hit it better on the head, because those are definitely champions. So good stuff there. And that is the start of today. If those are the best games for sure of tip-off of the NCAA basketball tip-off. And Taryn, I don't know, man. Do you remember this? A couple years back, I'm really bummed that this doesn't exist anymore. But do you remember a thing called the NCAA tip-off marathon? No? Yeah, no. All right, so I think we lost Taryn. We'll try and get him back right now. But
sorry. Yeah, there was a street sweeper going on. But no, I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, Taryn, if you don't remember, man, it was a spectacle. Taryn, how would you like this? Okay, especially being a student out of school. Starting at 7 o'clock the day before, like yesterday on Monday, all throughout, literally every hour to 2 hours from that moment, from that time, all the way to the very next day at like 7 or 8, which is like, what is that, 10 or 11 on the East Coast, there was basketball every hour to 2 hours throughout that entire 24 hours.
That would be crazy.
Well,
that'd be really crazy.
That's something that used to happen. I think they stopped it because, of course, school and students getting up early and missing classes and all that. But it was so freaking... That's my thoughts on why they stopped it. But it was so freaking cool. There was basketball on at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. Taryn, there was a game on TV whenever you turn it on, ESPN, or any channels who were carrying the game, there was actually games, and yes, there were games at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning at, at whatever schools. Taryn, how cool is that?
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And I'm just going to say this. When it comes to, the opening day of NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball, I think the opening day and the day after should be the day off of classes. No classes on either of those days, and more importantly, just give us some time to bask in the glory of NCAA men's and women's basketball when it comes to the opening day.
Thank you, Taryn. That is a great applause button. So, with that said, let's get to the top 25 of college basketball. We'll get to women's right now. But we'll start things off with the men's. We have here the top 25 preseason poll. Of course, the preseason no longer because it's the start of the season today. But here we go. So from 25-21, we have VCU, Auburn, Purdue, LSU, and Arizona. From 20-16, we have SMC, St. Mary's, of course, Xavier, OSU, of course, Ohio State, and Utah State, as well as Baylor. From 15-11, we have Oregon, Memphis. Do they have really cool uniforms? We will see. Texas Tech, Seton Hall, and at number 11, Virginia. I mean, why not? They're good and everything else. From 10-6, Villanova, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Maryland, and Florida. And the current top 5, Louisville, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and number 1, Michigan State. So that's a look there. And, of course, let's go ahead and jump on over now to the ladies, because can't forget about the ladies now. Today, we already have some, of course, games are already underway. Looks like the first game's already over with. Maryland, my gosh. The number 4 Lady Terrapins, 119-56 over Wagner, my gosh. But we have here, let's see, because top 25 games, and we don't have any top 25 head-to-head for today, which is a bummer. But tomorrow, we have some tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Thursday. Nope, not on Thursday. Friday. Nope, not on Friday. Okay, NCAA. Can we get some ladies ranked on ranked action going on here? None until Sunday. My gosh, we have to wait that long. Number 8, South Carolina won it all a few years ago, taking on those number 4 Maryland Terrapins, the Lady Terrapins. So we shall see. Or Terrapins, I really don't want to butcher it. But yes, so that is a look there at the start of the ladies' season. Let's go ahead and move on to the top 25, courtesy of the ESPN Sports Center app. We have Michigan, so from 25-21. Michigan, Indiana, Minnesota, Arkansas, and Syracuse from 20-16. Arizona State, Miami, DePaul. Let's see here. Yes. Michigan State and Notre Dame from 15-11. Texas, North Carolina State, that is NC State, Kentucky, Florida State, and UCLA. And the current top 10 we have from 10-6, Mississippi State, Louisville, South Carolina, Oregon State, and Texas A&M. And then the current top 5 we have UConn, Maryland, Stanford, Baylor, and number 1 Oregon. So any thoughts there on the ladies top 25, Taryn?
I'm just not really. Not really. I'm looking forward to see how UConn does. I would like to see UConn get back to their dominant selves. Many people are like, "Oh my God, we don't like UConn. They're just way too good." Well, we'll get better. You need to get better.
Thank you. Shut up and get better, right, Taryn? Seriously.
Yep.
That's annoying. Honestly, UConn in all of sports has, they're winning. They win more than anybody. Anyone. Ever. In sports. Ever. Okay, that's insane. Okay, that is insane, but I love it. So, anyway, with that said, Mr. Taryn, let's go ahead and jump things on over to a little bit of NCAA volleyball. We're going right to your section, man. And here we go, as a matter of fact. Taking a look at NCAA.com. We have here the current top 10, which I thought that... Oh, that's just the community rankings. Okay, sorry about that. Well, we'll get to the top right now. But looking here, looks like we have quite the run here by, let's see, Texas actually looking pretty darn strong right now. My gosh. But let's go ahead and just get into the rankings immediately, because I was going to go to the school. I was going to go to the games, but let's go ahead and get to the rankings since I'm already here. So the current top 25, we have from 25-21, Texas A&M, Washington State, UCLA, Western Kentucky, and Illinois. From 20-16, Cal, Hawaii. We have Kentucky, Rice, and Utah from 15-11. Purdue, Washington, Colorado State, Florida, and BYU. From 10-6, Marquette, Creighton, Penn State, Nebraska, and Minnesota. And from the current top 5, and they've all stayed there from last week, we have Stanford, Wisconsin, Baylor, Pittsburgh, and Texas. We'll get to the scores momentarily, but Taryn, before you drop all the knowledge on them, of course, your show is coming up at noon, so 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. What can we expect on today's episode of Set Point?
Well, for starters, there are a lot of players that made a lot of milestones this past week, so definitely looking forward to that. You can also look forward to my night at Long Beach State on Saturday. It was actually quite the interesting night. And also I'm going to get into the Big West Conference race. I'm also going to get into some other conference races, because there are some conferences that are pretty tight, and then there's some that have been blown wide open, and then there's some conferences that I haven't touched base on that I'm going to touch base on. And then there's this one hot team that's been streaking ever since the early stages of the season, and who's had to overcome a little adversity. So definitely look forward to that. I'm probably going to go on at 12 at noontime, maybe a little afternoon. We'll see.
Should be a good one. Coming up this week, man, UC Irvine and UCR. Definitely looking forward to some Big West matchups there, as well as Fullerton taking on Davis up north. That should be quite the battle coming up. That's actually today. Those games going.
2 improved teams, might I add.
Really?
Yeah. Fullerton has definitely improved, and Davis is kind of up there as well. So, yeah, you'll be hearing me talk about a little bit about Davis on Set Point.
I'm certainly looking forward to that. I know coming up this week, I believe, Thursday we got a Pac-12 battle going down. Washington taking on Oregon, a couple Pac-12 battles, as well as Cal taking on Arizona coming up for this week. Certainly looking forward to seeing, to hopefully somehow try and get the maybe the live stream for this, because you gotta love some Pac-12. Also Stanford and Arizona State going head-to-head on Thursday. Oh, and the Battle of the Blues. Oh, my gosh. UNC taking on Duke, the Battle of the Blues. NCAA women's volleyball style going head-to-head on Thursday. Thursday is the day for, my gosh, look at this. We also have Colorado and UCLA, another Pac-12, and another Pac-12. Utah taking on USC. Darren, Thursday is the day, man.
It's very weird because, most of the game days are like on Friday and maybe some are on Sunday, but, good, and some are on Saturday, but, Thursday's the day. And, yeah, you'll be hearing me talk about some of these key matchups on Thursday. And Michigan State and Michigan as well.
Oh, would you look at that? Another in-house rivalry.
Big Ten matchup.
What was that?
Going to be hearing me. That's a Big Ten matchup. The Big Ten is pretty strong this year.
Well, Big Ten seems to always be pretty tough in wrestling for damn sure, and in football they're always usually pretty good too. So that should be pretty neat. You got an SEC matchup here, two of them on Friday. Florida taking on Mississippi State, as well as Arkansas taking on Texas A&M. Should be some good stuff there. ACC matchup here. Clemson taking on Virginia. Another SEC battle. Mizzou taking on Alabama. And look at this. CSUN in the Big West going on over to Fullerton to take on the Lady Titans in what should be another pretty good matchup there. So, yeah, as we can see, lots going on here. Kentucky and Georgia going head-to-head in an SEC battle on to Friday. Another Big Ten matchup, Minnesota and Maryland, as well as another SEC matchup, South Carolina taking on Mississippi State, and another Big Ten, and then a Big 12, a Big Ten battle here, Wisconsin and Ohio State, and a Big 12 battle. Oh my gosh, it's the Red River rivalry. Texas taking on Oklahoma. Taryn, is this like magical volleyball week? Like, what is this, dude? We have like rivalry week or something. Look at this, man. I mean, Purdue and Rutgers going head-to-head in the Big Ten matchup here. We even got an Ivy League matchup. Dartmouth and Princeton going head-to-head there. I mean, this is quite... and look at this. Long Beach State head on over to take on UC Irvine coming up this Friday as well. And, I mean, the games continue. Indiana and Penn State, they're on Friday. And, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that Friday?
Yeah, definitely Friday is a big week. And you also have or what's this on? I want to say this matchup is on, Friday. Cal Poly plays UCSB travels to San Luis Obispo to play Cal Poly in probably the biggest Big West Conference game of the year, which could decide which team stays in first place and which team will be more than likely be finishing third. I'll get more into that on Set Point, but let's just say those two kind of had a tumble in the Big Island.
Oh, that's rough, man. But I'll tell you what, we have here some great stuff coming up also on Saturday as my Cal Baptist Lady Lancers head on over to take on the Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunners. That should be another good matchup there on Saturday as well. I mean, man, this is a great week, and I mean, I'm just rolling down the list here. Baylor and Texas Tech, Big 12 matchup there. We have a let's see, let's go ahead and moving on down here. We have some big ones too. Colorado State and San Diego State. Mountain West rivalry there. Has to be a Mountain West matchup. Stanford and Arizona going head-to-head in the Pac-12. That's going to be another good game. I mean, seriously, which I don't know if Colorado State's in the Mountain West, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, them and San Diego State are going head-to-head though this week. And yeah, Taryn, I mean, looking at all these Harvard and Princeton, Dartmouth and Penn, Pennsylvania, another Ivy League matchups there. Utah, UCLA. These are all Saturday games. Utah, UCLA, as I mentioned. Let's see. I mean, the list continues. Long Beach State will actually be taking on Cal State Fullerton that day. And we also have another Big 12, Iowa State and Kansas. A Big 10, Nebraska taking on Iowa. Wisconsin taking on Maryland, also in the Big 10. Illinois taking on Michigan in the Big 10. Michigan State hosting Northwestern in the Big 10. I mean, yeah, Purdue and Penn State in the Big 10. Indiana, Rutgers in the Big 10. I mean, this might as well just be the Big 10 tournament, my gosh. CSUN and UC Irvine going head-to-head there in the Big West. And, oh, yeah, so, yeah, without a doubt, Darren, this is a huge week in ladies volleyball, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, you know, this, as you said, we're in the month of November, and, you know, the season's starting to wind down pretty quickly, and every team is going to need to start getting it together. Otherwise, they'll be left out of the big dance. Because some of these tournaments, or some of these conferences, don't have conference tournaments. I think there's like a handful of conferences that have like a conference tournament, such as like, I believe the South Belt League, which is home to like Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina, Texas State, and a few others as well. My question to you is this, Larry. Would you like the WAC, which is home to Cal Baptist, to have a conference tournament for a chance to make the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I would love that. They don't. The WAC doesn't have a tournament?
Not that I know of. You know, I'll double check, but I never really saw that.
Well, I know the WAC ended in football a couple years back, which bummed me out because there's no more WAC football. But man, like that would suck. I would love to see I would really love to see a WAC tournament because that's kind of messed up. Like, I would really think that there would be one, but that's a total bummer that there isn't one. But I'll tell you what, the ladies from Cal Baptist have definitely earned a right to play in something because they have had a decent season. Not been the best, but certainly a good season, and I'm looking forward to their next home game. As a matter of fact, I know I have it here somewhere on my calendar, but this team is without a doubt a damn good team. They have really done well in this season. Once again, it hasn't been the absolute best season, but the ladies have certainly gotten in their licks. They are playing, the next game is going to be on the road, as I mentioned, that'll be on the road. Yes, I believe that is the next one coming up here on the road in Bakersfield. And after that, well, we got to find the rest of their schedule here. But yeah, totally bummed out that they couldn't be home this weekend with everybody else playing at home this weekend. But yeah, it sucks that there is no WAC tournament. I did not know that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a WAC tournament either on this on the Western Athletic Conference website. So yeah, that stinks. That kind of stinks. But c'est la vie.
Yeah, basically. So good stuff there, man. So all right. So next up here, let's go ahead and jump it on to some women's soccer, NCAA women's soccer. As there are only two remaining teams, I said it earlier, undefeated, number 1 Virginia and number 6 BYU. Coming up, we have here the selection shows. We are down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to be getting, I think, conference tournaments already, I think they're actually underway. We're halfway through. Next week, we will, of course, name off those champions as well as get you, the brackets and everything coming your way. And then as for the men's, pretty interesting, guys. We have some really craziness going on here, as the article written here by NCAA.com says, with 2 weeks remaining before Selection Monday, the NCAA Division I men's soccer committee announces top 16 ranking on Friday, November 1st. Okay. Then it says the top 16 correspond to the number of teams that are seated in the 48-team NCAA Division I men's soccer championship bracket. And then pretty much just going through, all the good stuff here. It says, using the selection criteria as results, through games of October 30th, Georgetown is a top-ranked team with a record of 13-1-1. And the Hoyas are definitely, they have balled out this year. So the Hoyas are leading the Big East and are unbeaten in their last 8 games, 7-0-1. That is huge, including allowing a single goal in the month of October and only 5 all season. That is insane, man. The Hoyas are balling this year. Then it says Virginia, Washington, and Clemson hold the next 3 spots. The top 4 seeds are important, as if the seeds hold those 4 teams, would have the opportunity to host the quarterfinal round with a bid to the College Cup on the line. So it's courtesy of NCAABasketbal.com, article written there. That is really cool. That tournament, coming up, like I said, 13 days away, guys. We are just under 2 weeks now from Selection Monday, and the tournament will start the day after on Tuesday, November 19th. So we got that going on here. And that's all coming down to the wire. Then, too early to talk about the tops, the rankings so far in NCAA hockey. But for the women last week, we had number 1 versus number 2, Wisconsin, going head-to-head. Wisconsin winning the first game. I'm sorry, was it actually, an upset. I think Minnesota, won the first game, if I'm not mistaken, and then Wisconsin won the next one. And then it would end up a tie. It would tie in the next one 2-2. So, Wisconsin not winning in this series, but they definitely got a tie and a loss. But hey, Minnesota definitely got one on number 1 Wisconsin. Those 2 went head to head in the tournament last year in the Frozen Four in the championship, and well, Wisconsin would win it, but can the Lady Golden Gophers come out this time with that victory? Some WCHA hockey. And then in the men's, we are now currently in weeks 6 and 7. We had an upset on Halloween. Talk about a good game here. Penn State, actually. It was Wisconsin over Penn State. But PSU, of course, would strike back on Saturday, winning 4-2. So they would even the series there. But certainly good stuff there by Wisconsin. Both Wisconsin women's and men's teams getting down in hockey. And then Ohio State will sweep Michigan in the weekend. A little rivalry there. And then we also have an upset resulting in 1-1. We have Bowling Green. Talk about a nice victory. 3-2 over Minnesota State. But then Minnesota State will answer back with a victory over Bowling Green the next day. And a little bit of hockey news for you there. So with that said, Taryn, any thoughts there on any of the soccer moving forward or some hockey, college?
No. No, not really. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some more games. I believe the hockey season's like 3 weeks old, or 3 weeks old. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens next. But big ups to Bowling Green. Yeah,
how about that, man? The Bowling Green got it done. But no, we are weeks. We just finished week 7, going into week 8. Oh. For women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry about that. For women, that is. And then for men, the men are week 6 going into week 7. So we're a little ways in there. But, of course, we're getting short on time. We're also like to read off the tops here. But as of right now, that's pretty much what it is. And not a bad, really cool start to the season here, because you gotta love some early season upsets, and right now the pieces are just moving around. So we're 1 month into the season, pretty much, for both women's and men's in hockey. And we got, of course, this courtesy of USCHO.com. Next week we'll get a lot more in depth into that. But man, talk about some great hockey and just overall, man, just great soccer as well. We're getting close to tournaments here for women's and men's soccer, and we are just getting going in hockey. So anyway, with that said, last thing to get into for today, and this was just awesome. Okay, so I really didn't think that it was a wise idea for Canelo to move up and fight Kovalev. Reason being is because Mikey Garcia would fight Earl Spence Jr. earlier this year, and he would jump up 12 pounds. Well, Earl Spence Jr., of course, being the champ that he is, would pretty much devour Garcia. It wasn't a knockout, but it was definitely a, unanimous decision. And when I mean unanimous, when I say unanimous, I mean unanimous. This thing was, obviously one-sided. It was just a beatdown, and it sucks because I'm such a huge fan of Mikey Garcia, and I loved seeing him be that dominant fighter that he is. But moving up isn't necessarily always the best thing to do, especially moving up that big of a jump, 12 pounds. So, as a big fan of Canelo as well, I was like, damn it. Maybe you shouldn't move up and fight the Crusher Kovalev. And the fight started out with Kovalev pretty much dominating all 4 rounds, at least the first 3 to 4 rounds. And Canelo started to fight back. However, I do feel that Canelo gained some ground in the middle of the fight. And going into the 11th round, I had it 5 rounds per each fighter. Then it got crazy, and Canelo really started to gain some ground in that fight. He would hit Kovalev with a couple big shots, and before you know it, it would end in a KO, man. Kovalev would absolutely just cave, man, as Canelo will nail a couple big shots to the side of the head, and then, landing a big one to the jaw of Kovalev. Kovalev will go down immediately, just hold the ropes pretty much, just down, hang over the ropes, and it was over from there. It was immediate. It was done with. And they waved it off. Kovalev will lose his title, and Canelo at 175 pounds, jumping up from 160 pounds to 175 pounds, will win the 2000 dub, but you don't incorporate the year with that. But as I mentioned earlier, Saul Canelo Alvarez is now the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world. Amazing job by this guy. And Canelo continues to impress. He was asked at the end of the fight if he would stay there or move back down. He said probably move back down, but my gosh. Amazing to think that he jumped up and won that title over a guy that's much bigger than he is. Kovalev, I know he's not in his prime anymore, but still it's impressive defeating him. And will there be a rematch? I don't know. Will Alvarez continue to fight at that weight? I would like to see that. Will Alvarez continue to fight in different weights? I'd like to see that, but as of right now, I don't know. I mean, apparently, I don't know if he wants to fight Triple G anymore. I mean, those two already went head-to-head, one ending in a draw and one ending in Alvarez winning. But overall, I don't know. Your thoughts, Taryn?
Canelo moving up is kind of the definition of biting off more than you can chew. It's like when you go. It's like when you Thanksgiving Day when you eat a bunch of hors d'oeuvres and then you go get a big plate of when it comes dinner time you fill your plate up with like mashed potatoes and turkey and all sorts of things, and then you're kind of half full from eating those hors d'oeuvres and you just can't finish your plate. That's kind of the position that Canelo was in.
Yeah, but then he won.
And to add on to that, Canelo, and you suddenly just get that big burp after those hors d'oeuvres, and then you just pretty much finish your food. So big ups to Canelo, though.
Yeah, that was absolutely great victory there for Canelo, and certainly looking forward to see what he's got moving forward, man. What a shocker. He shocks the world, and I mean, absolutely shocks the world. Amazing victory for Canelo. So, anyway, with that said, that's pretty much going to do it for us here, y'all. It's we kept it 2 hours today. Usually we go a little shorter than this, but it's all right. We kind of got into a lot to talk about in the sports world today. So, with that said, that's pretty much going to do it for today. Taryn, where can these diehard sports fans find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Taryn Rodriguez1, T-E-R-A-N, and then my last name, Rodriguez, has a G in it. And then the number 1, so once again, that's at Taryn Rodriguez1. You know where to find me. And I'm going to say this for the millionth time, to all of you fantasy football owners that are starting Antonio Brown, please take him out of your lineup. He's not coming back to the NFL anytime soon. Please, to the 0.2% of you that are starting Antonio Brown, please do us the solid favor and take Antonio Brown out of your lineup.
Yeah, it actually is pretty funny. Like, people are starting him, but I don't know why. It's actually pretty funny, though. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that will do. You can find me, your boy Larry B, at VTHEE_LB53 on Twitter. You can follow us all as a whole at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, at IE Sports Radio on Instagram, as well as IE Sports Radio on IESportsRadio.com. Give us a like at IE Sports Radio on Facebook. We certainly like that and show us some love, y'all. So, anyway, with that said, we are back at it. Tuesdays looks like to be our time and our day, so we'll be back at it next Tuesday, y'all. Until then, we will see y'all. Cue the music! because we're out of here. All right, y'all, it's been a good one and a fun one, and I'll tell you what, we've 2 hours into it, certainly enjoying ourselves for today. Stay tuned, because Set Point is coming your way right around noon with Mr. Terry Rodriguez. Of course, lots of shows coming your way. Stay tuned to the network here at IA Sports Radio, Spreaker.com, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, as well as Spotify. We are on TuneIn, iHeartRadio. You know all the goods where you can find all podcasts. Y'all show us some love, hit us up, and enjoy the shows. With that said, y'all, as always, say all glory to our Lord Jesus Christ. Without him, we are nothing. And absolutely, big shout out and thank you to all of you listeners out there. We appreciate all of your love and support. With that said, we will see y'all next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.